If you've played Yakuza before, you know there are moments you never quite forget. The fights, the characters, the finales, the music, moments that remind you why this series is legendary. So instead of making another video about how Yakuza has been struggling lately, because we've been doing a lot of that, today we're gonna do the opposite. Today we're looking at Yakuza at its best. The moments that define the series and the moments modern Yakuza should take notes from. Kiwami has a lot of great moments you could pick from. You could argue it's Kiryu's opening sacrifice, Nishiki's slow downfall, or even some of the Majima Everywhere encounters. But the defining moment of the game has to be the Millennium Tower finale. I still get goosebumps just watching it now. From the emotion to the history between these two characters, this is Yakuza storytelling at its best. It's one of the most iconic finales in the entire series, and I'd even argue this is still one of Yakuza's best final bosses. But what really makes this moment unforgettable is how it ends. This is what early Yakuza did so well. Not just big fights, but actual consequences. Kiryu loses everybody. If this was redone today, we already know that Nishiki would have likely somehow survived, probably via a bush. Now for Kiwami 2, I didn't want to cop out and just do the ending again, but we have to. Kiryu vs Ryuji, specifically in the Kiwami 2 remake, is an iconic fight. It's the dragon vs dragon showdown. Pure rivals. No gimmicks, just one final duel. The music, the quick time events, just everything about this fight is perfect, and I wouldn't change a thing. This is also something classic Yakuza did so well. Final bosses weren't just obstacles thrown at you at the end, they were characters built up meaningfully throughout the entire story. By the time this fight happens at the end, you want to see who wins. Unlike some other later bosses who were just downright forgettable. This is what happens when Yakuza takes the time to build a real villain. A real rival. It's the reason why I have to put the Ryuji showdown on this list as one of the best moments. Now, Yakuza 3 is an interesting game. There's definitely some standout moments like Kiryu vs Mine, a few of Mine's speeches, or Rikia's death. But for me, the best moments from Yakuza 3 were the moments where Kiryu finally finds peace. Any scenes to do with protecting the orphanage, or just downright the slice of life scenes, are so unforgettable since you could argue it's the one time Kiryu is really at peace. Whether it's the sub-stories revolving around the kids, or something as simple as Kiryu cooking for the kids. This game just has so many moments I feel people take for granted. It's a game that lets Kiryu have his true desires. Not power, not reputation, just a quiet life, even if only for a short while. Yakuza 4 is probably the easiest one on this list. Even with Sajima's prison break or Akiyama's introduction, it's still we are the Yakuza 4. Or seriously, anything to do with the game's finale. The superhero dynamic intros, the four-way showdown on top of the Millennium Tower, or just how the story itself plays out. Yakuza 4 has the best finale of any Yakuza game. because this is where Yakuza stopped just being Kiryu's story. This game proved it could build multiple legends at the same time. 4 protagonists, 4 stories, 1 finale. And it's still one of the most hype endings the series has ever done. As my personal favorite Yakuza game, it's really hard to just pick one. There's the final fight, Shinada's baseball redemption arc, Sajima vs Majima, Kiryu vs 100 Men, Sajima's Prison Break 2, or just anything to do with Haruka's story. It's such a packed game. But for me, the best moments have to come from Kiryu's taxi life. Look, I'm always a sucker for Kiryu's character development, and here he is once again proving he's the world's best dad. Working as a taxi driver, alone, depressed, missing the orphanage, all while helping Haruka chase her dreams. Kiryu has always been a legend, but moments like this are what remind you he's also a human. And in such a packed Yakuza game, it's easy to overlook this quiet chapter of his life. But honestly, this time away from his kids is probably one of the biggest sacrifices he ever makes. One of the most popular Yakuza games, and my first, Yakuza 0, while not as large in scale as Yakuza 5, is still packed with peak moments. Majima's slow transformation into Mad Dog, Kiryu realizing what kind of man he wants to be, or just the dual endings for this game. There's lots of prime moments. But the best is gonna have to go to the first long battle in the game, Kiryu vs Dojima family. As an introduction to the series, Yakuza 0 had to show players what Yakuza truly is. And this first long battle was the moment that completely hooked me in the series. A massive variety of special heat actions, great music, and just Kiryu kicking ass. This wasn't just a great fight, this was the moment the Dragon of Dojima was born. And honestly, you could argue the series is still chasing this same exact high. New engine, better graphics, and a turning point for the series, Yakuza 6 marks the finale in Kiryu's story. And with it comes some great moments. There's some strong battles, we are the Yakuza 6, the ending sequences, or anything to do with Haruto. But there's only one moment in this game that will make a grown man cry on demand anytime. And that's Kiryu's farewell. And then just like that, Kiryu would silently say goodbye to his family for good. The beginning of one story and the ending of another. Even now, years later, just rewatching the scene still gives me a few tears. After everything Kiryu went through, all the fights, all the sacrifices, this is all he ever really wanted. To know that they would be okay without him. It's time for a fresh start, and Yakuza Like a Dragon is here to do so. Ichiban is our new protagonist, and man, this game's story is great. But there's one standout moment in this story of twists and reveals that really stand above the rest, and no, It's not Kiryu showing up for one scene, it's the coin locker reveal. If you've been following the story closely so far, this is a massive payoff moment. Swapped at birth, wrong baby, whatever you call it, it's simple. Ichiban's whole life could have been different, but that doesn't change him. He still chooses to be loyal, he still chooses to care, he still chooses to be Ichiban. I loved Like a Dragon's story, and I think it's a high they are still trying to reach today. Despite the controversy, I am a fan of Yakuza Gaiden. I mean, how could I not be? I'm a Kiryu simp all the way through. The final fight sequence is awesome, the use of legacy characters is great, but the one standout moment is gonna have to be the emotional ending scene. If anything in the series was gonna make you cry, it's this. After everything Kiryu sacrificed, after giving up his name, his life, his family, he still can't even tell Haruto who he is. And when he sees that drawing, he realizes the life he protected is moving on and growing up without him. This is the price of protecting the people he loves. And it's a damn tough one. Because maybe the cruelest part of Kiryu's story is that the one thing he always wanted was the one thing he could never have. On to the current game. Since Pirate Yakuza doesn't exist around here, there are a lot of great moments between Ichiban and Kiryu. Kiryu's cancer reveal, the passing of the torch to Ichiban, and battles between legacy characters. But for Kiryu's story, the focus is clear. Legacy. The best moments in Infinite Wealth are the ones where Kiryu reflects on the series as a whole. The bucket list memories were perfect. A chance to revisit the series' greatest moments, to see the highs and lows, and to take a tour of Kiryu's journey. It almost felt like a personal tour through the history of Yakuza alongside him. And for that, I'll always be grateful, as we may not have many moments with Kiryu left. Of course, I couldn't fit every great moment into one video, so if you'd like to see a part 2, subscribe and leave a like. Let me know your favorite moment from a Yakuza game in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one.